Welcome to the Weekly, brought to you by Building, Design, and Construction. This is your spot every Thursday to check out the latest trends and innovations we're seeing in the marketplace. Before we get started, I'm going to tell a story. So I have these bumps on my head and my nose. You can probably see them. And knowing when you have those things, people feel funny about asking you. But I had someone on our staff call me, said, "Hey, Tony, were you in a bar fight?" And I don't know why, but I found that like strangely complimentary for a couple reasons. One is I live in Pennsylvania. It's COVID, no pubs, no bars. So that would have been the good part of that compliment. And then a bar fight, I was like, wow, somebody thought I could be in a bar fight. There's something cool about that. The true story, jumped off the diving board, went too far, hit the concrete, almost knocked myself out, bled. Not good. Not very smart either. And we did a segment on concrete and how well it performs. So I was just verifying that story. So let's get into today's segments. In our first segment, Jeff Gunning and Sarah Holstead talk about retail design and what rules should you be breaking? And really, who's the boss? Is it the design professional or is it the consumer?
So one of the first rules to break that we thought was you need to get to know your customer better and understand that there are affinity groups that are local and different from place to place, and that they will impact what kind of retail people want, not just how much money they made.
In our middle segment today, we talked to Stuart Barber. Stuart Barber's firm does a lot of work in assisted living, and we know what a spotlight there's been on that segment. They have a really unique design idea. It's called the household model.
When we talk about the household model, we have to talk about it's not just a design related thing. There is operational needs. There's the way that facilities are run, corporations are run, nurses are approaching this, and it's been called culture change. That was a coin by the Pioneer Network. And it really does a good job of talking about it because it talks about a transformative change that really gets to the heart of a systemic issue and attempts to really undo its history because of that history we just talked about. So, it doesn't really change what we do. It changes the reasons why we do what we do. And a lot of times it requires an open mind and really a lot of determination by folks at every level. And really, it questions all that we know to enact some real change. So what we're talking about is how care can be provided for residents focused on them. So self-determination of the person, shared decision-making rather than subordination.
We finished this week in the science and technology segment, another segment that's going through the roof. And with laboratories, I mean every laboratory going all out, things are changing fast.
Due to the required density of this project, scientists need to be in close proximity. In order to collaborate, they have that required attire. You have to remember that scientists have been doing this for a very long time. The scientists at this lab are dealing with COVID-19. So they have the required protection. So they wear masks, eye protection, hairnet, and their collaboration is key. The only two things that we did, one was we updated the MERV filters in the HVAC system. Mm-hmm. What that allows to do is to have more filtrations of the air throughout the day with heavy-duty filters, that if there was to be any COVID-19 in the building, these filters are designed to catch the virus. So that's one thing. And the other thing is that at each entry of the building, we located a fever monitoring device, and we disguise that in the ceiling panels. And what that does is that as visitors or scientists come into the building and the device detects any fever, it'll set off an alarm and will notify the visitor, and that person won't be allowed to come into the building.
So that ends our segments for this week. As always, thank you very much for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. Next Thursday, we'll have 3 new segments for you. In the meantime, if you missed anything, here's the addresses to see them on demand, both on Horizon TV or on YouTube. And if you'd like to email anything to me about what you'd like to see on the show, here's my email address. So we'll see you next Thursday. Please wear your mask, be safe, and thank you very much for joining us.